A user asked if I had the fake version of the NES Zelda, and I'm not really sure what the fake version is, but I'm guessing they probably mean, do I have the gray cart version of The Legend of Zelda versus the gold cart version of Legend of Zelda? And yes, I have both. The gold cart is actually the original version, right? It was all gold plated. This is what sold the most copies. This is what was out for 5, 6, 7 years. Towards the end of its life, Nintendo cheaply made this gray cart Legend of Zelda. This fake, but not fake, version is actually about $35, and this gold card version, even though it's all shiny and nice, is only about worth $28. If you do that same logic with The Adventures of Link, Zelda 2, gold cart was still the original, gray cart was the later print variants, but the gray cart on The Adventures of Link is actually less expensive than the gold cart. I can never explain things like this. All I gotta say is, welcome to the world of being a game collector. It never makes any sense, but it's still so much fun to do. Are there really any valuable games for the original Nintendo Wii? A lot of the games seem to be made for kids, so outside of Mario, Zelda, Sonic, some games really aren't that valuable from a collector dollar perspective. So some popular games for the Nintendo Wii were hunting games, because they had the shooting technique, which is kind of like Duck Hunt. So you had Cabela's Legendary Adventures, Dangerous Hunts 2013, African Adventures, right? And these games are all about $6, $7, maybe $5. Not really the greatest value, but there is a unicorn.
Nay.
Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2011 complete in box goes for about $30 right now. Can never explain how it works, why people think these things are so valuable at certain parts of the year or life cycle, but if you look hard enough, you'll find treasure. So let me know, what kind of valuable Wii games do you think you have? So I got another find today from my posting on Facebook Marketplace. Just picked up a Sega Genesis 2 with a Sega CD for only $40. The problem is it doesn't have any cables, no power cords, no cables. It's a little dirty. It seems to at least open up. I mean, it's a little dirty. I gotta clean it out. It's a little rusted. These things can go for about $230. This is about $40 itself, so it's about $270. For another $40, I also picked up a whole bunch of games. Got some 3DS in the collection. I finally got Q*bert. You guys know that I love Q*bert. This is an amazing game. And some other things, but let me know, for $40, would you run the gamble on cleaning a Sega CD? So I just heard about this on Super Mario Bros. For NES, and there's no way that this is real. Check this out. On the front of the label is Mario. We all know this, right? We're all used to this site. Mario with the fireball and the wall. But if you look closer, that's Mario falling into the fire pit in one of Bowser's castles. So this means that Mario is dying on the cover. One of the most popular covers in all of gaming that I can think of. Everyone knows Super Mario. He's dying. Nintendo chose to show the hero of this game falling to his fiery doom. I've been playing this game for 35 years. I've never noticed this detail. Tell me in the comments that I was not the only one who just found this out. Today, we're in Culpeper, Virginia for the grand opening of Final Boss. I've been super excited for this store to open, and it did not disappoint. We immediately walk in, and the walls actually have some good titles and are not predominantly shovelware. They had more N64 titles before I shot this, but they were so busy I had to film after I made my purchase. Like Super Big Games, they had a bargain bin, but theirs was $5 per game, but today was a buy two get one free deal. The games are in better condition, so they were definitely worth the extra bucks. Also had a great selection of DS and Game Boy games around, and even had a good selection of handhelds for sale. I think one of the coolest finds was House of the Dead for Xbox, which is a cool zombie shoot-'em-up game. The bargain bin deal actually applied to any game listed at $5, so I was looking through all the games to see what I could find. We found some cool CIB GameCube games, so you know we have to come back for these. I ended up spending $100 for 14 games, which included Quest 64, and I ended up getting an additional 6 bargain bin games for free. So at $5 a game, this was quite a steal. I'm definitely coming back. So user asked, what's my most valuable game that I have in this entire collection? Easy. Conker's Bad Fur Day. This is a game for N64 that came out when I was maybe about 13, 14, can't remember exactly, but this was a game mature as it's rated, and hopefully they're bringing this to the Switch Online anytime soon. But this is a game that was just crazy. You're this little squirrel who has what
seems to be a drinking problem or is very hungover, has to battle mighty mounds of volcanic poop.
I am the great mighty poop.
It's a cool find. I think right now just a loose copy is going for about $116. I got this in a bundle. So after flipping parts of the bundle, this game was free to me. If you can't find this game or you don't want to shell out the $115, there is also a version that you can play in the Rare Replay for Xbox One. If you get a chance, try it. It is a funny game, and if you can, I'd add it to the collection. Today we need to talk about some unexpected finds when it comes to video game. And specifically, I'm talking sports games. Now, most of the time, sports games are not what we think would be very expensive, but I was logging my inventory and price charting, and I came across some crazy find. Goal 2. Goal 1 is about $5. So whenever I see sports games, I usually think, $5, $6, $7. I usually find them in dollar bins, bundles 3 for $10. I usually add them because I want the quantity in my collection, and if you're trying to get a full collection, you gotta even have the sports titles, even the titles you're not gonna play. This must be a rare game just based on the amount of copies sold. It's going for $35. Honestly, when I picked it up, like I said, just getting it to add to the collection. You think this game's really worth $35? If you've played it, let me know in the comments. So user asks, what's the coolest variant console that you have? It's a hard toss-up, but I have 2 that are really cool. Check them out. I think for me, my favorite one that I currently own is the Orange Spice GameCube. This is a Japanese version, but it does play all of the North American games, so NTSC. I do also have the Orange Spice controller with it, so to me, this is the coolest thing I have so far. Also looking for Jungle Green, Watermelon Red, definitely other variants of the Nintendo 64, but until then, I'd say this bad boy is the one I've got. But the other one that I think comes in a close second is the Pokeball 2DS XL. This thing is super cool. We got this game flipping, so free pickup here. Same with that one over there. This is mine, but it's pretty much my son, Asher's. Every time he plays DS games, he's using this. We got some DS Lite versions back here, but this is probably the second best, coolest thing I have. Let me know in the comments what cool variants you have. Controversial topic. How do you feel about Game Genies and Game Sharks? If you don't know, the Game Genie was one of the first cartridge-based ways to cheat. Now, you know, the label does say it's a video game enhancer, but it's cheat codes. If you had cheat codes, you could have infinite lives, you could have invincibility. Playing Star Tropics, you could start off with a lot of energy and a lot of weapons and never run out of that stuff. Zelda 2 for NES was crucial at beating the final boss in the final palace, plus Dark Link. I mean, without that, as a 8-year-old playing this game, I could never beat it. I can beat it now as a 40-year-old person, but at 8, this was clutch. But I don't know, it's a controversial topic. Most people don't like using cheat codes, but you know, what do you think? All right, it's time for more ridiculous video game discussions. Today, we're talking about Katamari Damacy. Now, this is the re-roll version for the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, re-roll, you think it's a re-release of Katamari Damacy for the PS2. Now, this is a fun, crazy game that I found in college. And you start off as this little prince, and you get put into different environments where you have to start collecting things as if you're made of glue. So you have to collect these small objects, and then as you get a bigger piece of garbage, you can then pick up bigger objects, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and you have to pick up everything. There are versions, Katamari Damacy is on PS2. There's also We Love Katamari. They did Katamari Forever, which was on PS3. Katamari Reroll, I found for $12 at a GameStop. I think it usually goes for $15, $20 brand new. You could probably get it on eBay or Amazon for $15. So let me know, have you ever played this game, and did you have as much fun as I did? Did you know that there are different versions of the Ocarina of Time for Nintendo 64? This was my favorite Nintendo 64 game growing up, and I remember that when you are adult Link, you get into the Fire Temple, you can hear chanting. Also, when you fight Ganon and you slash at him and you stab him, he bleeds red blood. However, on later copies, they tweaked some things and they got rid of some of this stuff. So apparently on the 1.0 and the 1.1 versions, and you can see this on your label here, it's NUS CZGE USA or CZLE USA. These two versions are pretty much the same. The 1.1 actually got rid of some bugs, but it didn't do anything to the chanting or the red blood. The 1.2 or the CZLE USA, and then in parentheses an 01, removed the chanting because it didn't want to be affiliated with any type of religious content.
And there were some complaints that the blood was too real, so they moved it to a green type instead of red. So let me know what versions you have, and if you had the green blood, did you not know that there was a red blood version? Alright, another controversial topic. Do you call it SNES, or do you call it SNES? Growing up in the early 90s, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was called the NES. So when the Super Nintendo released, you figured it would just be, hey, still Nintendo Entertainment System, but there's a Super in front of it, so it's SNES. Doing a lot of game collecting and talking to different collectors and watching different social media, I hear a lot of people refer to it as SNES, and I don't know why. I get a little cringy when I hear it. It's probably my old boomer mentality, get off my lawn. But I can't call it SNES. I have to call it SNES. It's just how we grew up. We spelled out acronyms. We didn't pronounce it like it was a whole new word. So I'm pretty sure the comments are going to get divided here between older people and younger people, but so let me know what you call it. Is it SNES or is it SNES?